crucifixion or crucifixion, X-I-O-N or C-T-I-O-N, whether it is fact or whether it is fiction, and Al-Quran, the visual miracle. Tonight, the topic under discussion is Jesus God? We are indeed fortunate to have Mr. Ahmad Deedat in our midst so soon after an extensive tour of the Arab countries where he lectured on these very topics. He leaves for Durban tomorrow morning, and I'm sure for many of us it will be a sad farewell. Through the Islamic Propagation Center, he has brought with him free literature. I think all the literature has been dished out. We have to wait for more. If you want any of the literature and it's not available tonight, you can write to the Islamic Propagation Center. It will be sent to you free. The booklet pertaining to last night's lecture, Al-Quran, the Visual Miracle, will be available early in May. The Qurans, of which we are out of stock tonight, will be obtainable from Rosemead, Claremont, for the same price as it was available here at these lectures. R7.50 each, 10 rands for two. If you cannot afford the 7.50 or the 10 rands, you are free to write to the Islamic Propagation Center and state your reason why you should be issued with a free copy of the translation by Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali, and it will be sent to you. The videos of the TV program, which was on the program Cross Questions, the topic then was Islam and Christianity. Mr. Gilchrist featured there, and Mr. Ahmad Deedat, and Maulana from Durban, and another Roman Catholic minister. That is available for 25 rands. You can write to the Islamic Propagation Center. You'll get your copy if you send the 25 rands. It's also available here and at Rosemead Supermarket. For those that you write to Durban, send your 25 rands and you'll get a video cassette. Once you've made all the copies you want to, and once you've seen it a good couple of hundreds of times, you then send it back, you get your 25 rands back. The videos of the present series of lectures will also be available, and tonight I think I can say within about 2.5 weeks' time. Those will also be available at 25 rands per cassette. And for those also you can write to Durban, make your copies and get your 25 rands back once you send it away. Please don't take the tape out and put the comic strip inside. We won't take much more of your time. We'll now call upon Mr. Ahmad Deedat to deliver his talk on the subject, Is Jesus God?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما المسيح ابن مريم إلا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل وأمه صديقة كانا يأكلان الطعام انظر كيف نبين لهم الآيات ثم انظر أنا يفكون صدق الله العظيم. Mr. Chairman and brethren, people naturally become inquisitive. They would like to know, how does it come about that a Muslim is expounding biblical prophecies, is dealing with Islamic subjects from the Christian point of view, that he might be able to appeal to the Christians? Where did he get this knowledge from? I did make some indication in the beginning of my lecture tour that I was working in a country shop, and across the shop from where I was, there was a Christian mission, Adams Mission Station, where missionaries were being trained. And these missionaries were coming into the shop where I was working, selling sugar and salt, handkerchief, flower. This was my work. And me and there were other young ex-students, just left school. We were being hammered by the Christians. They came along, whatever they studied, they practiced it on us. He said, you know, Islam was spread at the point of the sword. In other words, Muhammad forced his religion down people's throat by threatening them of chopping off their heads. He says Muhammad copied his book, the Quran, from the Jews and the Christians. You know, he had so many wives, and on and on. We were at the receiving end of a Christian assault, attack. And either I felt you should leave the job and run away, or defend yourself. But you can't defend yourself if you have no knowledge. And I was in desperation. And Allah Bari Ta'ala is Musabbibul Asbab. He is the creator of opportunities. I was restless one Sunday morning, didn't know what to do. I want some reading material. There was no books to read, but I was hungry to read. So I go into my boss's warehouse, rummaging through a pile of newspapers, looking for something pleasant to read, like the Farmer's Weekly and things of that nature. And in that pile of newspapers, I come across a worm-eaten book full of mildew. And the name of that book was Izharul Haq, which means the truth revealed. At the end of this booklet, if you have received it, is the Bible God's Word. There is an epilogue that how these things happen, and I mention here that this book, Izharul Haq, changed my life, all my experiences. You know, it has made me, actually, that one book made me to come here now. And you coming to listen to me because of that one book. What one book can do. So in that book, it was written by an Arab, and this Arab gentleman was trying to arm the Indian Muslims, who were at that time at the receiving end of a Christian assault in India. You see, India was in the hands of the Muslims. They were ruling it. They ruled it almost 1,000 years. And the British came with the superior gun power, and they snatched power, dominion, rule out of our hands. And they felt, and they thought rightly, that if at any time anybody would give them trouble, it will be the Muslims, because they had tasted power, tasted dominion, tasted rule, and once you have tasted it, you aspire to get it once more back again. So he said, if we can convert these people, if we can make them to turn the other cheek, you know, we can rule India for 1,000 years. So they started pouring in the missionaries, like frogs in the rainy season, into India. And they started mastering our language and wanting to debate with the Muslims. At first, the Muslims were reluctant. You know, these are our rulers now. They have conquered us. And if we debate with them, you know, they might put us in jail, Robben Island, something like that. So he says, man, leave it out. But now, since they started learning our language and challenging us in our mother tongue, the Muslims were forced to accept the challenge. And Maulana Abdul Aziz of Delhi, this is I'm reading in the book, which made everything interesting to me, which brought me here. That Maulana Abdul Aziz of Delhi, he was forced to accept the challenge. It was a certain reverend founder who was the head of that movement, missionary movement. And according to the appointed time and date, the debate started. The reverend started the debate with requesting the Maulana. Maulana means our Shaykh or Imam in our language, you see, in the language of the Indian Muslim. He said, Maulana Sahib, telling him in Urdu, sir, respected Maulana, get started. Start the ball rolling. So the Maulana said, you see, look, you are our elder brother. In other words, Christianity precedes Islam by 600 years. So you are 600 years senior to us. So as such, you have the first preference. Number two, he said, look, you are our guest. No doubt an unwelcome guest, but a guest at that. So as such, again, you have the first preference. So the Reverend was forced to start the debate, and he started with a question.